Okay, so I'm back. Haiti Oropesa with Florida You Judge. And for the last broadcast of today, we have Nick Fiorentino. He's going to be joining me shortly. He's running to be a judge in Pinellas County. And so I'm just waiting for him to come on so that he can address the voters as to his platform. And we are going to allow 4 call-ins. If you'd like to call while he's on, you may call in to ask him questions. He's a judicial candidate, again, running for the 6th Circuit, a judicial seat in the 6th Circuit. And he is in studio, so I am going to go ahead and let him come on. Hi, Nick.
Good afternoon. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad that you took some time to come on, and I'm sure you're making appearances in many, many different platforms, events to get the word out, let voters know who you are, your platform, and so I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself and let the voters know who you are and what you're about in your career and whatever
great.
else.
All right. So my name's Nick Fiorentino. I'm running for Circuit Court Judge Group 14. So that is for all the voters in all of Pinellas and all of Pasco. I've been a practicing attorney for 21 years. I graduated from Clearwater High School, then St. Pete College, went to USF in St. Pete, and then graduated from Stetson Law School. From Stetson, I opened my own practice where I practice primarily family law. After about 3 years, I merged my practice with the firm that I'm still with now, that is now called C.R. Cellino, Gell, and Fiorentino. Been with this firm now for about going on 19 years. I practice family, criminal, personal injury, and probate. Also a family law mediator, trained arbitrator, and parent coordinator. I'm also a critical incident attorney for law enforcement, which means I'm on call 24/7 to respond to officer-involved incidents where I respond to the scene and represent officers in different criminal matters.
Okay, so how long have you been an attorney?
21 years.
21 years. Okay, and have you ever had any practice in, I know civil for sure, in either as a defense attorney, criminal defense, or prosecution?
Yes, so I do have I've never been a prosecutor. I came out of law school and opened my own practice. So I've never been a prosecutor or public defender. I have had done criminal defense work, and all of my work through the police union is criminal defense work. So I'm representing officers when they are charged or could possibly be charged with a crime.
Okay, so I saw recently that Sheriff Gualtieri endorsed you. That was a major endorsement.
Yes, I was very happy to receive his support. In this case, I represent officers and deputies when they're involved in disciplinary matters, criminal matters that normally he's investigating. So I'm normally on the opposite side of cases that he's on. And, we're usually arguing different points. He's trying to discipline my clients and I'm arguing against that discipline. And so he's, aware of my character, the way I carry myself, my demeanor. And he thought that I was the best candidate in this race.
Okay, so I'm trying to show your, let me see if I can, okay, I'm going to open this because I'm going to share your, I'm going to share your website, your judicial campaign website, so that the viewers, what is that? Oh, here we go. And there's that. And so, if the public wants to know more about you, they they can go to Fiorentino for the number.
Right. Judge. Fiorentino, the number 4 judge.com.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post that so that the link is in the comments section. Let me see if there's anything here. Your endorsements are on here.
Yes.
So I just wanted to go ahead and so the voters can see, wow, you have a lot of support from the Police Benevolent Association, St. Petersburg Association of Firefighters, West Central Florida Police Benevolent, a lot of good. Wow, look at that. Jeff Brandis, Ken Burke, the clerk, Chris Latvala, DeSegli, a lot of retired judges. I was in front of the Honorable Linda Allen. I was in her division for a good amount of time, and she was awesome. Um, Look at these school board members. So you have a very impressive list of endorsements.
I have very broad support from current, former elected officials, former judges, and over 90 attorneys.
Look at that. Congratulations. That's very impressive. So you're very well supported. You have a is there anything else you think that I should show the voters on your website? But yeah.
I mean, I think the endorsements, if they want to go and read about me, there's a bunch of information on there, including my resume, includes all my memberships, community involvement, and things of that nature, my family information, my background.
Okay. Yep. There's a lot of good information here. So again, it's I'm going to go ahead and stop that share. It's I have the link for the website is on in the comment section, but it's Fiorentino. I hope I'm pronouncing that good. Well,
You're right.
For judge.com.
Yes.
Okay. So why do you want to be a judge?
So it's interesting. In my career, I didn't start off wanting to be a judge. It wasn't a goal that I had. But I had a case in Tampa in 2015. It was a custody case, modification of custody, where my client, who was the father, former Army, he served in the Army, and he was getting out of the Army and settling down, and he had 50% of the time with his daughter, and the mother had filed to modify time sharing, and we had an all-day trial scheduled. The basis for the modification was primarily that the child was entering school. She should have her the majority of the time. And there wasn't really a basis that dad was bad or anything like that. Dad was like super dad, taking the little girl to dance and extracurriculars and all sorts of things and doctor's appointments, so on. So we had an all-day trial scheduled in Tampa. And at lunchtime, the judge said, I have lunch plans. We're finishing this up. I'm not coming back after lunch. We're getting this wrapped up. And so that we lost about 4 hours of our trial time. And I had to reshuffle the witnesses and the evidence that we needed to present and get that before the court. At the end of that hearing, some findings were made that were contrary to the facts that were presented. And then ultimately a final judgment was issued that took the 50-50 time sharing away from my client, gave him about every other weekend, no extra time in the summers. And if I recall, it didn't even address holidays. I think we filed a motion for rehearing and got the holidays addressed at some point. But there was no basis. The findings were not, they didn't match the evidence that was presented. It just didn't make sense. And so I told my client he needed to appeal. And he met with an appellate attorney, and it was going to cost a lot of money, and he didn't have it. And I told him, look, I have friends who can walk us through this. I will handle this appeal for free. And we got the appeal done, but it took 9 months. And he ended up ultimately getting everything back that he had lost. The appellate court reversed virtually everything. But it was 9 months of him not having time with his child, him, not having time with her siblings. And I saw the detriment that it caused that family long term. And I said, we need attorneys with experience who are willing to walk away from their successful practices and serve. And so that's when I made the decision to do that. I became a family law mediator at that point. I became a parent coordinator, took arbitrator training, and tried to take all the training that was necessary to become a good neutral to be able to preside over cases. And so that's what led me down that path.
That's an awesome story. By the way, I just want to tell you that I'm glad I heard that story, because you know what? I'm assuming safely that the takeaway from that experience is that should you be elected, you're going to listen carefully to everything and give everyone the time to make the presentation of their case, especially when there are issues such as
100%. 50% of the people who leave your courtroom are going to be unhappy. It's just the nature of the job. And if you treat everyone with respect, listen to everyone, review the evidence they present, there's no point in giving evidence to the court if they're not going to review it, and you have to take the time and do the homework and put in the work necessary to do a good job for the people who are appearing before you that you're serving.
And to have justice.
Correct. Right.
rendered. Yeah, so that the right thing is done. Okay, I've engaged you a good amount of times, and I think you would have a good temperament. I do. And is there anything else that you'd like to address the voters about? I think if you won, you'd make a good judge. I just want to
Well,
say that.
thank you. You know what I think is important is that we have judges that aren't disconnected from the community, judges who are engaged in the community. I think that's important. I'm very involved in the community, the legal community, and the community at large. I served the St. Pete Bar for the last 4 years, 2 years as chair of the marital and family law section. When I was done with that, I was given chair of the year for my work. Then I served 2 years on the board of directors. I serve as treasurer for the Pinellas County Trial Lawyers Association. I did that. I'm now serving my second year in that role. Very involved. I don't believe in joining organizations just to build your resume. I think it's important to be a part of them and give it your all. So, that's in the legal field. And then in the community, I'm very involved with Rotary, a member of the Seminole Lake Rotary Club. I've just started my third year as secretary of that club, which is quite a bit of work, keeping track of everything that we need to keep track of. I was actually just awarded Rotarian of the Year by my club this year, which was a very surprising and great honor because I serve with so many people in my club. So to receive that was amazing. I serve on the finance committee for the district Rotary for our district, and also involved with Hero to a Child, which is the Guardian Ad Litem Foundation. I've been on their board for a year and a half now. Also on their government advocacy. I chair their government advocacy panel, which is, where we try to get legislation passed or defeated that will benefit our organization. I serve on the board of the Central Pinellas Chamber of Commerce and also on their government advocacy committee. Through Rotary, I'm involved with a lot of other organizations that we serve. The Florida Dream Center, where we pack food on Saturdays, Horses for Handicap, and just a number of organizations. I think it's important that we have judges that are connected. A lot of time, judges get to the bench and we never see them again until election time. And I'm hopeful that that's not the type of judge I will be. I'm hopeful to be able to continue in some of these roles. I know some of it'll be limited. I wouldn't be able to be involved.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, when do you sleep?
I'm usually in the office about 5:30 in the morning to start my day and, work on everything that I need to do to get done and, still have time with my family. And then I'm also on call 24/7 for the police union. So I'm, very busy and I'm used to being busy. And so I think that would benefit me being a judge.
Okay. Is there anything else you think you'd like to cover? To let any information regarding dates for voting and all of that?
Of course, the election's August 20th for the primary for Pinellas and Pasco. Judges are elected in the primary. There's 3 people in my race. So if nobody gets 50% plus 1, we'll go to a runoff in November. It's important for voters to know that the law changed this year. And if you have not requested, if you're used to voting by mail and you have not re-requested your mail-in ballot, you need to go online to the supervisor of elections office and do that now. On average, 2 years ago, approximately 484,000 people received mail-in ballots. Currently, the last number I saw, we were at 184,000 requests for ballots. So that's 300,000 less people who will be getting ballots in Pinellas and Pasco.
Yeah, and they probably did that. That probably changed because that's a lot of waste if people get it and they're not.
But what happened is, but some people just don't know they have to re-request them.
No, I understand.
Make the request, then, a lot of people don't even remember to vote in the primary unless they get that ballot in the mail.
But I think it's a good change because some of those people might have moved, right?
Yeah, I have no opinion on the change. I'm just saying there is a change.
Right.
People need to request their ballots if they want to get their ballot in the mail. I just think it's important for them to be aware of the change because people got their ballots in March for the primary, and they assume they'll get them again in August, but that may not be the case. So
was it that previously it would automatically go for everybody that was on the voter roll?
No, previously you had to request it, and then when you got your ballot, you could check a box to continue getting it by mail.
Oh,
They didn't go out to every voter. You had to request it.
Gotcha. Okay. What else? Do you want to inform them about anything else that they need to know to be able to cast their vote?
Yeah, I
Kindly.
think I think it's important to know, in this race, there's three candidates. I'm the only candidate who has experience in family law, criminal, probate, and civil. I've been practicing 21 years, which is longer than anyone in my race, and I think that broad experience would be very beneficial if I'm elected. I've also been the managing partner of my firm, so I'm well aware of the stressors that attorneys face and clients face when working with attorneys. And I know the business of law, not only the practice of law, which I think would benefit me on the bench as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on, and I wish you the best.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.